Hello there, thank you for watching again. I'm going to show you today how to do a watercolour that is using the technique wet on wet. So what I've got in my jar here is just water, and I am going to apply the water over the paper like this so that the actual paper is becoming wet. I'm going to do a landscape. The colours that I've got here are so vivid, so I will have to apply them quite sparingly. So as you can see, I'm adding one colour over the top of another, and to make it lighter I'm adding more water and I'm just letting it run. So with the wet on wet technique, you will find that it allows colours to bleed and to seep into each other. Because my board is slightly angled, what you will see as well is that it's going to have a downward motion. I have actually reduced the angle of my board for this because I don't want it to overpower and come all the way down, really, if I can avoid it. So it's going to have this kind of running, blurring, blending sort of technique to it. And I'm going to add the bottom bit. Did you see I didn't quite go down to the bottom bit because I didn't want it all down there. I'm going to start putting in a bit of a view. This is a lakeside view in the Lake District. And I'm also going to add a bit of the actual water. So if I just put that in, I know I feel a little bit like Bob Ross now, but as Bob Ross is a big hit these days, I'm sure that it's very worthy to be like Bob. Big shout out to Bob Ross. I'm going to add a bit of land here as well and bring it down. I'm changing into a little bit of green. These watercolours are quite a cheap set from Turner's, and if I just show you what they are, they're this set. They look like children's and they're really dull in colour, and when you apply them they are so vivid. They've got such a luminosity to them that I just always want to use them. My great friend and technician at school bought them for me, and there's been no looking back. It's them all the way. I'm going to add a little bit more of the purple colour. The hard thing about these colours is that you can't tell which colour is which because they all look so dark until you actually begin to use them. But how vivid is that pigment? Absolutely fabulous. So can you see the idea of how the sky is? With watercolour, what you don't need to do is add white, so try and avoid it. Sometimes you can leave yourself passages of white within your work if that is what you are trying to achieve. In this case, I don't really want the passages of white, so I'm going to work back into those little areas that I've left. But sometimes I use that also as a painting device, so you may choose to use that. Usually you don't get much black either, but there is a very darkish colour in here, and I'm going to add a bit of this into my picture. I tend to shy away from black and white quite a lot when I'm painting. That's my mum in the background making the bags for nurses. So this is what my initial work is going to look like, and then I'm going to add different things over the top. This is how the painting looked as I left it to dry, with the pigment dispersing all over. You can't really control it, so it is very much a spontaneous sort of random technique. This is where I've just drawn in the tree that was on the photograph that I was looking at. Here I'm painting the tree. I've decided to use red just so it stands out a little bit more. It reminds me of a Japanese bonsai, this tree, so I thought red and Japan It was just something that I thought I'd go for. As you see, I painted the tree in and then put the background of everything else. And here is the actual outcome. If you like this, you can use this same technique, but if you add rock salt, you get a nice dispersion of pigment even further. So that's something you could look at.